Okay, I think I'm more far away than I usually am. Let's see, am I live? Oopsie doopsie. Hello, 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 everyone. I'm dropping things. Welcome to Tea with Teresa. I am so sorry if you were looking for Tea with Teresa last week. Because things are ramping up with the, hold up a second, let me do this so you guys can actually see my face. Things are ramping up with the campaign, so there we go. We are doing Tea with Teresa every other week, something like that, yeah. So, I want to get to it because I actually have another meeting I have to go to right after this. I just left one with People's Action, Citizens Action Group, and we were all discussing everything that we need to change and things that need to be addressed immediately. A lot of other people who are running for office. So I'm hoping everyone is me. I think I said I'm live, so I'm hoping I'm live. Okay. Last time we chatted, my daughter was on, my 16-year-old who is in college at the moment, and my 14-year-old refused to come on. She's so over all of this, but that's okay. I don't hold it against my baby. She's been doing this for years. But my middle girl was on Kinney, and she was discussing, or I should say, expressing her feelings in regards to opening back up the schools and things not being safe and stuff like that. Actually, let me grab this because I want to read something that she sent to me. And she's not the only one who has been asking me to actually do something. I'm not the superintendent of schools. I'm not running to be the superintendent of schools. But any way that I can help, you guys know I try my best too. And if I can't help, I try to direct you to the people that I know can help, or the people that I know who may know someone else that I can't think of to help. So, and you guys know this about me. I try my best to rack my brain to help. But I'll read in a few minutes something that my daughter had sent to me earlier today. Okay, so school days, that's what we were talking about. My daughter was talking about her not agree, her being afraid, I think that's what it was, more not only for herself but for her friends who just now experiencing their senior year because she graduated early. Excuse me, a long day. If you guys didn't know, my daughter graduated this year from high school, and she's actually in her second year of college. When my youngest, my 14-year-old, just attended her first college classes this summer, and this is her first year of high school coming up. They're doing the Smart Scholars program, and if you want to know more about that, you can either go to Schenectady City Schools website and find out more about that, or shoot me a message and I'll explain. But obviously my children are in public school here in Schenectady. All the years we've been here in Schenectady for the most part, and my daughter was very afraid, and she's like, I want to do tea with you, mommy, because I want to talk about this. So we didn't get to continue the conversation last week because it's just crazy. The campaign was just crazy. But I definitely want to speak this week because she was talking about things about the kids going back to school. And now, right after that, the decision was made that there will be all virtual classes. So no students will be in any of the schools in Schenectady. and the majority of the schools are being shut down. Some of the elementary schools are being combined. 7 to 12 will be all virtual, and there is absolutely no pre-K. And that's horrible in itself. And on top of that, to add insult to injury, over 400 people, majority of them black and brown people, and new hires have been terminated. And I had asked one of the paras that I know whether they had the chance of actually, like, was it just a furlough? Were you just, just temporarily terminated? And then when the budget gets back to whatever it needs to be to rehire you, will you be rehireable without having to go through hoops and things? And that para said, absolutely not. We are permanently fired. And I would really love to hear from some of my teachers, paras, TAs, lunch ladies and lunch guys. You all know you're really important. Social workers who have been fired. Put something in the comments. Let me know your experience. I know this has been crap. And that word isn't even strong enough. I'm trying my best not to curse. When I get really angry and emotional, my language tends to get extremely colorful. So I'm trying to stay focused, but I I would really love to hear from you. Maybe we can do another tea next week instead of another every 2 weeks, because I really would like people to hear your voice and not me just saying, this is what I heard and this is what was said to me of some, anonymous person in the background. Because, I could just be making things up, and I would rather people hear. Of course, I would never do that, but I would rather people hear from you. And not just in Schenectady. The 49th Senate District covers parts of Saratoga, parts of Herkimer, Hamilton County, Fulton County. I would like to hear from everyone. Schenectady, Fulton, Herkimer, Hamilton, and Saratoga. I would like to hear your experience. What is going on in your neck of the district? Exactly what's happening. Hold up a second. I think just making sure my daughter's not sending me anything else. So before I go into anything, let me just, on that note of my daughter, before I forget. So she says to me, she says, Mommy, they are treating the class of 2021, so those are some of her friends who are graduating next year, horribly. Could you help with some stuff? And I've been on the PTA, and I'm always like, we should do this. And I've been in parent teacher liaison meetings and all this other stuff. So my daughter's used to me just, jumping into things. And I said, and she said they aren't being open to any senior events till spring, and the funding is horrible. We all know that, right? But this is her words. All the white schools are being treated better. They haven't cleaned out the school, and she left me an actual 1-minute voice clip that I didn't listen to. They don't have a grant for the class of 2021, and the new superintendent is not qualified to do his job. That's coming from my 16-year-old child speaking to her other friends who are currently going to be graduating, and this is how some of the kids are feeling. So let me check the comments here and see if anyone's saying anything. Okay. So if you have comments or anything, and I know some people are just really exhausted from the constant fighting, but we wouldn't be this exhausted if we already had this stuff. We wouldn't be this exhausted if everyone were treated equitably, and if every school district had the funding that they need. Not equal funding, because it's not equal across the board. Every school district does not need the same amount of money, but every school district that needs it is 100% funded for everything for our kids. And we wouldn't be fighting so hard if there weren't so many social injustices embedded in our society. And yes, it's exhausting, but that means that we have a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do. So please, if you're an educator in Schenectady, and that includes paras, TAs, all of that, substitute teachers, tutors, all of you, please, social workers especially, because that's key. Because when we're talking about defunding our schools, as opposed to defunding the police, that's a real huge conversation that we need to have, because we're okay with defunding our public schools, but we're not okay with defunding the police so that we could actually have money for our schools, and also employing more social workers, case workers, crisis workers, and other programs that need to be in place for our students. So I would like really, really for that. And I'm going to move on to a couple of things. I don't see anyone saying anything just yet in regards to school defunding. So I just want to make a statement. Well, it's not more of a state. It's not a statement. It's just I want to say a thing. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen two more people, and I know there's been more, but more specifically closer to home, Daniel Prude in Rochester. There's lots of riots and protests going on because he was killed. And Mayor Lovely there, I truly believe that she has the people's back. And I really hope that she does something that is beneficial. And I've seen what's happening, but we all know that more needs to be done, because if it was enough, we wouldn't still be out there in the streets protesting for Daniel Prude. Also, I want to make a comment about the 13-year-old autistic young boy who was shot by police. This is all in relation to defunding police. Now, I know for some people, when you hear defund and then you hear police after the word, for some reason, some people just hear we need to get rid of police completely. I think eventually, in some future time, we won't need to have police, because historically, why they were established, I'm not even going to go down there. But anyway, I think eventually we will be at that point where we do not need police any longer, and in the capacity that they are right now. But defunding police means exactly what's being done to our schools. And I'm not talking about layoffs. Layoffs are happening not only because of this funding, but it's happening because of COVID and budgetary reasons, and no federal funding coming down from that person in the White House. So it's a whole slew of things that's contributing to what's happening in our schools. But when we hear defunding our education, defunding Planned Parenthood, defunding Medicare, we're talking about taking those monies that we're putting into a program that we deem unnecessary, which is really horrible, but and moving it over to another program that we find extremely necessary for us as a people. So when I say defund the police, I mean exactly what I mean. We need to invest in our schools. We need to invest in our education, our public schools. We need to reinvest in social work and mental health work. We need to pass the New York Health Act. Hold up a second, let me take a tea. We need to pass the New York Health Act, because that 13-year-old autistic young boy, should not have been shot. What should have happened was that when that parent called for medical assistance for her child, especially with Daniel Prude as well, these were mental health crises that were happening. Police should have never been involved at all. What should have happened was a crisis worker should have been called in to handle that situation. Crisis workers will be trained to handle all types of mental health, domestic violence, social situations that police cannot handle at all. And we know police are not trained to handle that. Okay, before I go off on a tangent, because I have to be off at a certain time, I just want to make that point. And I'm going to keep making that point because we need to defund the police. We do not need to keep militarizing our police. Ask yourself exactly who are we militarizing our police for? What is that picture in your mind of the people that we are gearing our police up for to go to war against? Ask yourself that and let me know. You can email me. Besides school defunding and our insistence on not defunding the police, we are heading into, and we are in a serious housing crisis. I was going to read an article, but I don't think we have time in regards to the stimulus package that has not been, well, that the Senate agreed on, and this is federal level, but it does not include a second stimulus check. It does not include any housing support. What it includes is making sure that we have paycheck protection for small businesses and also that childcare is funded. There's other things too, but all the other things fall in line with that. Making sure there's paycheck protection for small businesses, whatever they deem as a small business, and also childcare is funded. So what your federal government is essentially saying is that they don't care if you can feed yourself. What matters to them is that you can pay for childcare so you can go to work. So, and I'm all for small businesses, but I don't know what the federal government deems a small business, and we know what happened with the last stimulus check. But what they're saying is that capitalism is way more important than you living, feeding your children, paying your bills, and paying your rent. We are heading towards a serious housing crisis. Trying my best not to curse, but this mess needs to stop. We need to wake up. If your current representatives are not working for you, if they're not speaking for you, if they can't see your point of view without you having to send 50 million letters and ask 50 million of your friends, and I'm oversaturated, of course, but 50 million of your friends to give them a call to let them know what's happening down here with you, then they need to leave. If they don't get it and they have to be reminded by you all the time, like it never made any sense to me why I need to call my representative, they are representing me. Why do I need to call you to tell you what the issue is with me? You already know what the issue is. Well, you should know if you live like us, if you work like us, if you're trying to survive like us, if you were living paycheck to paycheck like us, if you were uninsured like us, you would know exactly what the deal is. So, just saying, if your current representative is not working for you, if you find yourself struggling for absolutely no reason, there shouldn't be a reason why anyone should struggle. We are in the 21st century. Just saying, if you find your current representative, whether they're a Democrat, Republican, or whatever they want to call themselves, you need to look for another representative if they are not representing yourself. We are not only just facing crisis, housing crisis right now through evictions, but we got gentrification going on. We've got rent hikes happening. We've got community development that is not representing the communities that they're developing in. There's so many things that are working against the working class, and the poor. I'm just saying. So you all know, for the most part, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, my views on these things. If I feel that it does not work for you, then I'm not going to back it at all. I don't care how the party wants to go, what direction they want to go. If it's not for you, if I know it's not going to work for us as a community, then I'm not for it. For example, there was this guy, this older gentleman up in, I think he's probably up in Herkimer, like really far up, or Hamilton, one of those. And he called me. It's probably the second or third time that we've spoken. The second time we've spoken one-on-one. Other times we've spoken in a farmers group. and he was talking to me, speaking to me about, the plight of our small farmers, which is another thing that I want to talk about. I'll probably save this for another one. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, because I've only got about 11 minutes. Um, oh, actually, I've got less than that. I got 9 minutes. So he calls me, and he's talking to me about he says, I know, our plight, blah, blah. And I said, well, what do you need me to do? Because I need to help. I want to help. And he goes, yes, I know you do. That's why I'm calling you. And we start talking about things that need to happen. And then before we ended the conversation, he goes, by the way, I'm Republican. And I said, "Oh, okay." And he said, I usually always vote Republican. But if there's somebody in there that I know is genuinely 100% for me and my values and what I need and what the people in my community need, and I know they're for me, that's who I'm going for. And he kind of said that you could hear like he was smiling. And I said to him, and I said, listen, I feel the same way when it comes to our lives. I don't think that we should be talking about, well, you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. Um, I know right now, especially with the Republican Party, they're so far right. I don't even know. I don't even think. I think they've left the planet. But with that, and that's the party. With that being said, there are regular folk on the ground, everyday people who are who see what's happening in the White House, and they know that it doesn't represent them. Understand, however, that our local elections are way, way far more important at this moment because the laws that we pass, the legislation that we compose directly affects you. It takes some time, if it's not taxes or whatever, but it takes some time for federal level to affect us. Your local elections are extremely important. So whether that's a Democrat or a Republican, a Green or Independent, if that person speaks for you and they carry your values and they got your back and you know this for sure, first of all, you need to come see me, we'll talk. Vote for them because right now who are in there right now, for the most part, they're not helping. They're not working for us. So, and I think that's what this gentleman was trying to get across. He was like, I haven't voted off the line in a long time, but I know you, Teresa, and I feel like you genuinely get it and you genuinely want to help. And anyone who's ever worked with me or anyone who ever knows me, that's me, period. If I can help, I will help. And when I do help, I overhelp. And if I can't, and I know I can't, I know my limits, I will direct you to someone else or I'll try to direct someone to you. So I just want to say that let's not get blinded when we're voting for what we need. But I'll say again, I do see that the Republican Party has gone so far right. It's scary. And this election, I just got off a Zoom, and I said this election, and I know we say this a lot with almost every election that it's our lives on the line. This is so true more now than ever. But let me get back on topic. I'm sorry I went off on a tangent. Um, what else is on here? So talked about housing, healthcare. I said this already. New York Health Act. We need to definitely pass that. There is a funding issue with the New York Health Act. I get it. I understand that. And I understand it on this side, but once I'm elected and I get in there, I will be able to fully comprehend exactly what the holdup is. And I want to make sure that, and you guys know me, besides my DIYs, I'm Mrs. Fix It. I usually can identify what the problem is and quickly find a solution. It's one of my superpowers. And I just want to get in there and figure out what the heck the holdup is so that we can get the New York Health Act passed. We need it. I know we can afford it. We just need to make sure that other people can see how we can afford it. Besides the stock transfer tax and wealth tax, there are other ways that we can raise revenue, which is a whole big thing. But there's so many different ways that we can actually afford to pay for the single payer health care. So, and just think about it. Like, you don't have to worry about whether you have money to buy food and your prescriptions, or if you have to wait, or maybe for those of us who are diabetic and those of us who may be on antidepressants, pinching off, taking your pills less than you're supposed to. Why? Because you can't afford to purchase your prescriptions. Like once we pass the New York Health Act, prescriptions become affordable. You won't be wondering whether or not you can buy your prescriptions, which the fact like that just didn't feel right in my mouth. Buy prescriptions is ridiculous. So many things need to change. I think next time what I'm going to do is make sure that we definitely have some teachers on. We may do a Zoom live. I have a few people on my list that I want to connect with, and you'll be hearing from me soon. And also, just a heads up, Thursday, I think tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think I will be doing, I'm for sure, that I will be doing Instagram Live with Sergio Celestino. He was a contestant on Project Runway. We're going to be doing something tomorrow. And also, we have a fundraiser coming up in October. I can't wait to tell you. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about, we're going to share our newest endorsement. And I can't wait to share with you all the most recent endorsement that I got. And I was really hoping that I would be endorsed. And I was really extremely happy when I got the call and was told that I was endorsed. So I can't wait to share that with you. I think that one's going to be out in October, early October. I'm sorry you have to wait so long, but I'm working on other people's timelines. But know that I'm excited, and I want you to be excited for me. And I told you the last time when it was Andrew Yang endorsing me that it was going to be something really cool and awesome, and it was. And believe me, this next one will be as well. Tomorrow's just as good and awesome. The next endorsement, I can't wait for you guys to hear that. I'm really excited to have so many people, organizations backing me because they see that I'm not just another, politician looking for the next rung up. I'm actually here for my people, for our community, and I'm here to do the hard work that needs to be done to make the changes that we need so that we can live. So hopefully after speaking with the teachers, so I'm hoping somebody will get in touch with me and those that I reach out to will agree to meet. I want to talk also about green conversion, urban farming, and also farming while black, which is not something you often hear. So I'm going to sign off now because I have to go. And I see someone saying something too. Let me see. Deborah, I am one of the teachers laid off in Schenectady, and we are heartbroken. Listen, I'm like crying for you, right? The ones that remain are going to have the most challenging year ahead. We need your help going forward. Yes, yes. You don't know how many people have asked me. Like I'm like, Deborah, let me tell you. I've had sleepless nights the last couple of nights, just tossing and turning. It's really, I think I wish I don't know what if there's a stronger word besides heartbroken. It's just I would say curse inducing. Like I just want to just go off on a rant, and it's so I'm here to help. So who else? Let me see. Someone said hi, Pell. I don't know what that is. All right, so let me see what time it is. Oops. Okay, so I have to go because I have to get ready for another Zoom. And I hope everybody had their tea. This is one of my favorite cups. Star Wars. I think this has the newer one with Rey in it. But this, I'm a nerd. I'm a geek, so I love my sci-fi stuff. I will see you guys maybe next week. I'm hoping maybe Deborah can be on or some other teachers as well. Someone from the board. It would be great to have that insight. We can have a nice civilized conversation about how this is affecting all of us. I made a point the last time when I was at the rally at Albany Without Teachers. I stated that who's being affected by this most, and our teachers know this, are our students, and even more so students of color, immigrant students and students of color, and that's majority students of color. And we need to find a way to make sure that they're okay. And we as teachers, we know this. They're not going to be okay because they come to school for what? To get away from home for the most part, to eat, maybe to get clothing, because most of us, I know I had to carry belts, socks, t-shirts in my classroom besides pencils and pens. And many of you don't know this, but teachers, we do so much more than educate your children. And I know a lot of you know this. We go so far, I should say, those educators who are there for the students, because we all know. But we go so far above and beyond just educating. So it's not just pencils, books, and erasers. We do so much more. So for those students who go to school for refuge, they don't have that anymore. We need to talk about this. There are a few forums coming up in the next couple of days, well before next Wednesday. Please join them. Please reach out to those organizers and make your voice heard. We need to come together, and we need to make sure that we find a solution to fund our schools, no matter who is in the White House. And our schools need to be funded, not dependent on federal funding. There's a way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna go because yeah, it's getting late. Okay, talk to everyone later. Maybe we'll have tea with Teresa next Wednesday, and hopefully we'll have some teachers on, and they can express their frustration, and I'm sure some tears will be shed, and hopefully we'll have some students on as well. This is really serious. We are in a fight for our lives, people. Like, it's getting really, really bad. But we all need to stick together, keep fighting. And I'll say this, stay safe, stay healthy, and drink tea.